As business owners, we have the weight of the world on our shoulders, so we need a place to learn from others that have been there, a place to work on our business, but also a place to work on our personal lives. The Greatness Garage is that place. I'm Brad Borkus, and I'm here to guide you on your journey. Now let's get to work.
Welcome everyone to the Greatness Garage. We are so excited to have you. We have an amazing woman with us today. We have a boss mom extraordinaire. She is a woman, a businesswoman that was really birthed of fire. When she got into her family business, similar to my story, she came in and it was a challenge to say the least. And she has managed to take this business and make something extremely special about it. She is a woman with a huge heart, and she has huge ability to just connect with people, share, and just be an amazing person. And so for everyone, I want to welcome Emma Isis Carter Hobbs. Welcome to the show. We are so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you, Brad. I appreciate that. Nice
So we're so excited to have you. So tell everyone, if you would, a little bit about your business and what you're about.
Whew. Well, you know me, so you know that's a very dynamic question. Yeah, like you said, first and foremost, I am a mother. I have nearly an 11-month-old son. And my husband, and we live on a small farm, sort of homestead in Sonoma County. I run and own, I'm the CEO of our home healthcare agency, Pacific Medical Resources, and we do all in-home care, both skilled nursing and caregiving. In people's homes. We have a passion for keeping people in their homes and living a life that's fulfilling and dignified. So we cover from just north of Sonoma County all the way up to the Oregon border. And when I first started working with Brad, many moons ago,
right?
It was for our fashion companies, because we do ethical fair trade design and fashion as well. So I'm a creative, and I've been a dancer my entire life and done a lot of productions and things like that. And so multifaceted.
that doesn't even touch. Yeah, and you know what? It's amazing how your creativeness has allowed you to create so many different touches of people's lives, and the way in which I've been able to be around her management team and her company, and what she's built there is truly amazing. So,
gosh, thank you.
Yes. Well, I'm always in awe. And so what the first segment we want to really start out with is what we call 15 minutes of freedom. And this is where Emma's going to kind of share with all of us how she's created freedom in her life, how she's created the time to be able to do the things she wants and operate at a level and a vibration that really connects for her and allows her to be in kind of control of her own life. So the first question we always love to ask about this one is, what did it look like before?
Ooh, well, as I started with, I'm a creative, so, free-spirited soul, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that being said, there was a huge lack of structure in my life, which is where I think you're going with this. And a whole lot of, I believe in flow state and all of that, but I didn't really understand fully what that meant and how structure plays into that before. So I was so busy. And I mean, it just felt like there was no free time ever, because one thing was falling into the next. Yep. So it was messy.
And Emma, let me give the listeners a little insight here.
Yeah.
At one point in the matter of 2 weeks, she lost her 2 top executives, like that, to help run the company for her. So she was, and I think, to be honest with you, your lack of structure at that time, part of what made that possible. Had you had too much structure, it would have shattered everything. And so, yeah, it's interesting how that works. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So you're going back to one of my dark nights of the soul. You know,
Yep.
yeah. So I'm an entrepreneur. I've started several businesses on my own. I've had, man, a handful of careers in different areas. In my younger 20s, I was really into healing and health also, but in a different way, as a hypnotherapist and yoga teacher. And so I had a whole lot going on. And I've always been that way. I like many things. So, I'm not sort of a one channel person. And so when my father passed away, 14 years ago, I overtook this home health agency and was on the board of directors and knew a lot about it, fortunately, and yet was in a really interesting position, right? Inheriting all these relationships and pre-existing sets of dynamics and all kinds of things. And one of those things I inherited was the director of many, many, many years. And so that was very complex navigating. And like you said, it was a crazy, crazy dark night of the soul when they clashed and all hell broke loose, if you will. Yep. And it really hit the fan, and I had to make some major decisions and do some serious soul searching and not sleep and just work night and day to find structure where it completely came undone.
Wow, absolutely. Well, and so then, you're kind of talking about, so the next question that kind of rolls into that is, what are some of the challenges you had to overcome to find your freedom, both business and professional, personal, excuse me. Can you explain what were for you some of those challenges that you had to overcome?
Oh, that's such a good question. So I definitely had a lot, I've talked about this with many of my people in my life, but I had a real fear of the concept of rigidity and structure. Like, to me, they were one and the same. I didn't understand. I was young and, and love to travel the world and do all these different things. And all of a sudden, there was this massive amount of responsibility that required a level of structure I'd never, ever had and forged. And so working with you
shameless plug here.
Yeah, shout out. So yeah, working with you, Brad, you were very, very helpful in my experience of undergoing that change and understanding that actually I wasn't free at all, because everything bled into the next thing and there was no pause and there was no idea about when this thing ended so this thing could begin. So I'd have this amount of time in the middle of that to have time for a lunch with a friend or whatever. So it was actually chaos was what it was, but I didn't realize that, until I didn't have enough time in my day to accomplish what I was trying to accomplish with that style. So what you helped me do was, and of course I've made it my own and I play with it and it's different now than it was then. But initially we created sort of a block schedule for the weekdays so I could find my sanity, because then I knew 11 to 12, I had flexibility to take all those calls I didn't anticipate, to deal with all the emergencies that arose, the hour before that when I was on a team call or whatever it was. So that would be my answer. It helped me so tremendously in creating that block schedule that I knew what I was working with. And then I knew where I had play time where it was a little more malleable, that I could fit everything else in.
Well, and it's amazing, as I'm listening to you speak again, the way in which, you are able to define, you know, the definitions or the meanings that we give to words. You know, before you like said structure used to mean rigidity. And it's funny now, as you look back to what you used to call flexibility, you would now call chaos. And that was kind of an interesting thing to hear that. Yeah. So
evolution of the soul and, you know, maturation and all of those good things. Yeah.
So the next question really was what is the most significant change you've made to propel yourself through this journey?
The most significant change I have made. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, scheduling. I don't want to say I live and die by my schedule because that sounds really boring. But I do have a strong schedule, and what's so cool about that is I can also then choose when I'm not scheduled, you know, and it has birthed in me ability to accomplish so much more than I ever thought was possible. I mean, I'm just one of those people that I like I said, many different things. And like, I'm looking at my easel that I painted on yesterday, and
you have so many talents.
Well, oh God, I don't know about talents, but I definitely love, you know, a lot of different things that I find inspiring, and I get really bored if I do one thing too long. And so that's sort of my personality type that, you know, it's like, you know, the double-edged sword. It's fun in many ways, but it's also like so my habit pattern was spreading myself way too thin and not giving myself fully to anything. And with your guidance and support in generating not just a structure that's like rigid how I thought of it, but like a flexibility chart that worked to my time, in my style, to my needs, to fulfill my responsibilities, was the best thing that, you know, I think it's one of the best things that's come from coaching with you. I won't my mouth there because it's not the only thing. So
that's awesome. Well, and you know what, just for the listeners to kind of understand, you know, what she's connecting with there too is this. When we don't have any kind of a structure or schedule or kind of ability, we're not truly free because it's always on our mind. All the things that we want to do are constantly on our mind. But when we create those boxes and that structure in between that, where you've defined, I want no connection to just freedom, I just want freedom, then you really actually have that where you have complete disconnection if you want it. Yeah.
And total presence in what you're doing. And that is really important to me, you know, to be able to be with my son when I'm with him. You know, I don't want to be in, you know, meetings in my mind that happened earlier. And then, so it allows me those, like you said, that it allows me for more freedom ultimately. And that was really enlightening, actually. So I would say that's the biggest.
That's cool. That's awesome. So what is the first thing, the first step, the first whatever that you recommend somebody looking to make these changes, to examine the changes? What is the first thing you recommend they do?
Call you. No. That's one of them. And, you know, look at what you're trying to accomplish. One of the really helpful things I do is I set goals. And I know that sounds very general and, you know, very cliche, but I am extremely into goal setting. And the reason I say that is because I feel like I start with vision. If I know what my end big vision is, which is living and malleable and, you know, constantly evolving, often, then I know where I'm steering myself to, and then I can go back, you know, in this process that I'm talking about doing with you, and actually set structured time for the different steps to accomplish where I'm going. Otherwise, I'm free floating. And so that is a huge part of my process.
Well, and what you're really you're living the phrase, start with the end in mind.
Exactly.
And it gives you that ability to lay intentional pieces down, doesn't it?
Exactly. Whereas I feel, visionary, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's kind of a grandiose word, but I get these very big, clear visions of the future for things that I'm working on. And I, inspired to create in the world. And with all of my businesses and all of my projects, I seem to see things in that way. It's like the end result first. And that was really overwhelming for me before I got that structure, because
you had nowhere to put it.
How the heck do you get there?
Yeah.
So the goal setting allows me to break it down into comprehensive steps, and then they go into the block schedule and I can get there, and that changes, right? Like, it's not always precise the first time you throw it down,
No, right? Work in progress all the time.
Yeah. Concept. Yeah.
So, I think it's amazing. Like, you start with that end in mind. And so, that was amazing. And so, so everybody, you just got an amazing way to get, 15 minutes. This is how she got her freedom and creative freedom in a life that she's able to do so many things, as well as being, a mother, and something so cherished that she's able to spend time in a way that is really unique. And so, so for the next segment, I kind of want to talk about is then, because, and this is going to be fun, right? Because you're such a creative. What has doing this freed you up to do?
More. More art, more design, more dreaming big, like I just do. I don't know. I think, gosh, we all have that. I think it's freed me up to do so many things. When my husband and I had the concept of having a child, it was extremely intimidating, because it was like, who has seconds in the day? Like, how do I do that? And that might sound really weird, but as, a CEO, I mean, our one company, our home healthcare company, I have, nearing 200 employees. And so it's a lot, and so, yeah.
Well, one thing I think that as I listen to you kind of go through this, and a beautiful experience, actually, my daughter and her son are very close in age. So I was actually able to go through this coaching experience just before she went through it. And I found, as we kind of worked through it, the need for intentionalness. And I think the way in which you and your husband spoke and thought and intentionally created what you wanted to do, it didn't go all as we all, it's perfectly planned, right? But there was an intentionalness to it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, he was very intentional on so many levels, as you know. We did, cellular detoxification. I mean, you name it. Writing, to the cosmos, everything we wanted to call into him. And he's obviously so much more than that. But, healthy, strong, amazing baby that started just walking at 10 months. Oh my Lord. So it's on.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck. Right.
Yeah. But that's number one. It also allowed us to free up for our huge dream of buying a home and a ranch and farm where we wanted to, raise him. So that's pretty huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like that freedom of organization, if you will, and that whole process we just talked about allowed me to create that for buying our home, which once that was in place, it was like, okay, our roots are in, like, we're ready,
Yep. There's that settledness to it, right? Yep.
Yeah. So that's definitely, I mean, obviously Talisman's the biggest thing.
Yeah, right. Well, and it's so interesting that one of the things that I've been able to observe with you as well is so I knew you as a creative before structure. and then watch you go through that very challenging time with the company where you needed so much structure to be able to go through it. And then to come out the other side as a creative, but a different kind of creative, a beautiful, a new phoenix of a creative, and it was really kind of interesting to see that.
Thank you. I feel like a phoenix because it was, well, you saw me, I mean, really at some of my lowest points in my life, God, how long have we worked together? 5 years.
I saw, was that, it's been,
wow.
5 years.
Wow. So that's been, God, what a transformational chapter for both of us. We've both become parents. It's been huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the stuff that goes through life, and it's not until you look back do you see some, because that's what's so fun about these interviews and stuff like that. We're so busy working and building and what's next, stuff like that. We get that chance to sit back and say, what did it look like? And as you sit back sometimes and kind of go, oh, that's right. That's I survived that.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that overwhelmed feeling, just going back to that, I had a lot of that often, and I don't think of myself as an anxious person, but that overwhelmed feeling would creep in really frequently because I've had, like I said, this business as a responsibility of mine for, I don't even know now. My God, 14 years.
Yeah.
So, it's always there. You know how to be a business owner. They're like, they never go away. But I never felt like I was tending to my garden properly before. And then I felt like I had these 5 other gardens and they were all getting like half watered, And so, in the last 5 years, I can really confidently say, I know my gardens are being watered, with that structure and freedom. So that's pretty cool.
What a beautiful way to say it, because, a garden, to truly be watered well, there's to be intentional schedule and a process and a way in which to do it, to watch something so creatively beautiful come up from it. Right.
Exactly. And it takes all that groundwork,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's been so fun to watch, as you create and you look for different avenues, and the way that your artistic creative has created such an artistic business, like in the way in which Emma works with her employees. There's such a beautiful level of heart. And myself, coming from the analytic background, really kind of sits in awe of that and admires that, so.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, Brad, you work with our team on a weekly basis. Now I have, so just to share, I now have Brad working with all of my management. So that says a lot.
Earn trust. That took me 5 years, but we got
we got there. No, it's just but that's the level that I believe in the work that you do, and that I know the product is there. That not that it's an end result, right? Like it's it's all evolving throughout.
Exactly.
But the way that you support each individual on my management team in different ways, it plays such a role into what we do, because one of the things that's opened up my time is that, I am all heart with the way that I do business, and yet, awareness of, the laws of business. But we do home care, we care for human beings, and particularly vulnerable in terms of, their health, often human beings. We care for people with disabilities of all ages, veterans, elderly. And so it has to be run with heart.
Yep.
No, it requires that.
And it is, and it's something, you know, as I've watched, you know, your place, the level of empathy is so very, very high. And, you know, I've learned so much about caretaking and the caregiving as well as nursing fields. And I understand why burnout happens. It makes sense because you give so much. And if they don't take care of themselves, it's a dangerous thing.
They're living angels, in my humble opinion. And the level of dedication it takes to do this work at the level it needs and deserves to be done is extreme dedication. And so if you ever get into this field, you know, in any field, you better surround yourself with people that are in it for the right reasons and are incredibly dedicated, you know, because like you said, that burnout can happen, but we're really passionate about creating support, you know, through, you know, different means, open door policies. So the communication's always flowing. So people feel heard, they feel seen. It doesn't build up. It doesn't go nowhere. It gets dealt with, you know, you know how passionate I am about that and communication. And also just allowing people time off and what they need to stay 100%, you know, giving them the support they need.
Absolutely. And that's one thing I think you found is that, you know, you've provided in a way and you've given in a way with your heart and with the resources that are there. And your company has in turn rewarded you for that and it built an amazing company. Yeah.
It's exactly true. Yeah.
Oh, there's a little guy. Hey, bud.
Hello. It's my sweet baby.
Post nap, I hear him, you know.
Yeah. He's like, I'm done.
So on the next segment, I want to roll into and ask a fun thing that we do. It's called the Power 7 questions, and just really some deep questions that inside the garage people can really learn from your experiences, from your lessons, and learn a little vicariously through yours. So the first question in the Power 7 is, what is something profound you hope someone says someday about you or your business?
Ooh, good one. Oh my goodness.
Leave the hard ones for the end.
Well, you know, you just said some of it, which is that I hope that it's said that I led with heart, that I truly have a positive impact on what I'm doing, you know, and, you know, that can mean, that's a pretty open-ended statement, but, you know, that's my goal is to, it's a big one, but in terms of the healthcare, we'll focus on that. You know, I want to see the whole standard across the industry raised. Yeah. I think the bar is null and void of it existing at all. It's low. And I think we can do so much better as a human community to support the people that I'm talking about. So if it could be said that I had any impact on that, and that I led with heart and compassion and truth, I mean, I would be
pretty special,
incredibly deeply honored.
That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, that's a great first question. So the second question, we learn so much through our mistakes, you know, and we value that. And so the question number 2 is, what is the greatest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it impact or change you?
Ooh, wow. Okay. The first one that comes to mind is, so, you know, people that tend to work a lot, I mean, some call them workaholics, you know. I
don't know who that is.
I don't know any of those guys. So allowing those people to become overloaded, I think as a leader, it's really important to like truly listen to your team. And I don't mean just what they're saying, because I think people want to tell you what you want to hear, and that's just a thing, right? And being in a leadership role, oh, you are part of it, yes. And it's beyond just listening to the words. It's really knowing your team and caring deeply for their well-being, to not allow for them to become overloaded and overworked to the point where they do burn out. So I think that's a huge, excuse me.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that you know, is so important is really taking care of them. You're right. So, you know, taking care of them, because it is that you're protecting them against themselves, whether they know it or not. And from a really heartfelt, intentional way that says, you know, I want you here for a long, long, long time. And if we don't take care of you and help you in that way, you know, it's going to be a challenge, you know, and I definitely connect with that 150%. So
yeah. It's about the long game, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, am I gonna dry throat?
Right. Well, that's important. So let me ask you this. What is your favorite quote and why?
Ooh, oh my God. I have so many. I love quotes. Well, the one I've been sitting with the last couple of days comes to me over the years. And it is, you know, I'll just say the first part of it, but, you know, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
And, you know, I think that is so true. And, hey, babe. Sorry, let me do
the pass off, right? We've done that many a times. Yep. And this is part of the beautiful thing about running with a business that runs a dynamicness that allows all of this to it allows life to be there, you know? So
yeah, so it's been a huge theme for me, I think, throughout my life, in, you know, just recognizing that we all, you know, my amazing husband, how do I do it?
Josh, how are you doing, brother?
Oh my God.
Good man.
My rock.
So, but you're right. I think.
So So disallowing ourselves to shine, not allowing ourselves to shine fully, not allowing ourselves to become what we truly are and radiate fully the love and passion that we have within ourselves, I think is a disservice to all. And that is something I've been resonating with very deeply again in my life lately, but also because, you know, there's just so many layers to that we won't even go into, but you know, it's endless. Like, who am I? That's what the quote continues. Who am I to be brilliant? Who am I to be fabulous? Who am I, you know? And we all feel that. And I think that's the whole like imposter syndrome that we all cope with, you know? That's such a deeply human experience, and to, you know, overcome that by saying, who am I not to? And we all are that. We all are that, you know?
And you know what?
One of us is more special than another, you know?
Yeah. And just being okay and be able to live with that, that feeling will come, and allowing it to flow like the river comes through us, and just say, hey, it is. And then know that we are that special, you know? Yeah.
And another one that comes to me all the time is, and I'm not going to say it precisely, but it's something like, do what you can with what you have where you're at.
Yeah, like root yourself. Yeah, I know exactly. Yes, I remember that. Yes. Actually, my favorite part of quotes is taking them and making them up and paraphrasing myself, and I create a whole new stuff.
I might have butchered it, but you get the gist.
Right? So let me ask you this. What one thing would you tell the starting out version of yourself, and how would it have changed your life? And that could be starting out in business or starting out in life, you know, wherever.
Oh boy. This too shall pass in the darker moments where you're, building the microbes in the soil and nothing's sprouting, and you're giving it everything that you have, as a business, as an entrepreneur. I think there's many of those moments of doubt. And yeah, that's a big one. I would remind myself that nothing's permanent. And so,
Yeah, I got chills on that. Yeah.
It's gonna go.
I got chills on that one because it is so, that is just so well said, because it is those dark times that, I mean, think who we can be if we remember that this too will pass. We can actually enjoy the present of a difficult time. Like we can actually be in an entirely different way. Yeah.
God, that's so true. I love that you just said that, because I had a full on epiphany about that yesterday. Like reading that quote, actually, the first one I said, I'm like, man, what if we just freaking lived like there is no tomorrow? I mean, with total respect and love and, no harm being caused and everything like that, of course. But like, how great would the world be if we just all went for it?
Yeah.
Knowing that it's all temporary, and it really washed over me.
Yeah, let all those mental demons, tell them to shut up and sit down. I got stuff to do here. Yep.
And that's the thing to remember. We all have that,
Yeah. So let me ask this. What is one thing that you did that hurt, but absolutely love that you did it?
I hate to say this. I feel bad saying this, but fired and terminated people that did not have an alignment with my soul purpose and values. 100%. It was so, I feel so deeply. It actually literally makes me want to tear up just thinking about this right now. But I think about, I've shared this with you before, of course, this, but I think about their family. I think about, their children, if they have children. I think about their life. And then what I teach and train is that I go through all of that and I get really deep and real with it and experience it. And then I let it fall over and I go, but if this is not in alignment with them, how can I hold them hostage here?
Yeah.
Is it good for them actually? Because if they're not performing, they know it, they're not happy.
Right.
They feel like they're failing. And that's so painful as a human being to experience that. And I know that feeling. So I feel ultimately like it's a liberating thing to do, to allow people to be where they really need to be. And I don't say that, I mean that, but it doesn't make it less hard, unfortunately.
And I am a little surprised with that was such an authentic answer, and it is such a true. I think so many of us hide away from that one, but
it's
that's
painful.
a beautiful. There's a perfect. But it's a perfect answer, because you're right. It hurts so bad, but like you said, you're freeing them from the judgment they have of a job that they don't love. I mean, if they aren't in alignment, they aren't loving the job, And so, that was a great answer. That was a great answer.
Yeah, it's so true, though, right? Like the truth will set you free. That whole
Amen. Yeah. So let me ask. This is a good one. How close were you to giving up? What got you there, and then what got you back?
Don't re-traumatize me.
That's what I said. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff here. So
okay, well, I'm just gonna be really honest with you, as always.
Yep.
But boy, I have had near mental breaks more than once. I felt, and coming back from those, the fact I question often how both my husband and I stayed in one piece. And I think he has so much to do with that. you know, having him as an endlessly loving support, you know, is, you know, what made it doable. To be quite frank. But yeah, I think there's a level of PTSD that, you know, I don't want to misuse that term because I know how serious it is. I'm not by any means comparing to a war veteran or something like that, but a certain level of trauma, right? That, you know, you go through when you launch something that means the world to you because you just put your everything into it, you know? And it's not like 100% of the way, yeah, high fives. Yeah, it's all great. Oh my God, it's working. We got this.
There's a saying that goes, if I knew then what I know now, I never would have done what I've done. And for that exact same reason. Yeah.
Oh boy. I hear that one loud and clear. That resonates.
So in each of those times when you think, what got you back? I mean, because what kept you driving through, you know, what kept you going?
Do you know what's funny? I wrote about this really briefly yesterday on my Instagram, and I actually want to share more about this, but well, a little tidbit about me. I obsessively study entrepreneurs. I just think they're fascinating human beings to put yourself through what we go through.
Right.
What are we doing?
I appreciate that you use the word fascinating versus any other ones you could, right?
I mean, some, you know, crazy is not the word. But, you know, I try to learn. I have a rule of thumb that is, don't, you know, study people that haven't done it. And that's what made me gravitate towards you. You had been exactly where I was at. And that was so incredibly, is kismet the word? I mean, it was just like divine timing on all the levels that there was a level of trust I had in you because you had experienced it that, I'm sorry, don't go to people that want to sell you get rich quick books if they haven't gotten rich quick. Like you know, and nobody does, by the way, like, you know, you need to surround yourself with mentors that you can learn from, that actually are embodying the example that you want to achieve, you know? So I think I did a lot of that. And in that research that I continue to do, you know, and aspire to, you know, have some of the qualities I see in these people, I learned about hot, cold. And I know this seems so off. You know, people have heard of Wim Hof probably now, and that's a whole like revolution, but it's it's ancient, right? Ancient technique. And there's many techniques, but going into cold, hot, cold plunges in water for me on a regular basis did such wonders to my psyche and my body. It just would allow me to like shed so much of the stress, you know, and the layers that would just compile. And I feel like I was breaking. And then I would, you know, do these treatments and I would just feel back to present.
Interesting. Do you feel like it was because of how it hyper got your senses? What do you think happened there? What do you feel happened?
I have so many theories around this, but my simplest one is it plunges you back into your body. In a way that few things I've ever experienced have, you know, and I think it's just like a surefire way to get there. You have to be present when you're in freezing cold water. Where else can you be? It's like,
that's well said. No, it's well said. Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. And then the healing effects, you know, physically, of course, are profound in my experience. You know, I think that, you know, the lessening of the blood flow, everything kind of slows down, including your mind, including I just, all layers of my being seem to, go into the same state. It's like a
Yep.
unification, whereas my seriously dynamic life and mind, I need that, I need an anchoring like that. And then, you go into the hot and it surges, and all the healing that goes through your blood, through the oxygen and all of that. It's just, I think that creates such a huge stress release for
Makes
me.
sense. Yeah.
So
I love it. It's great stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So last question, and this has been such an amazing, thank you for your authenticity, your beauty. I thank you for everything today. So the last question is this: looking ahead, and you do such a good job. We talk about your vision. We talk about the way in which you do this. Looking ahead, what is the gap that you feel that needs to be closed by yourself or your company?
Ooh, well, I'm not going to give you all my trade secrets, but the big word that comes to me. So you're talking about specifically the healthcare?
Just it can be personal or it can be healthcare. What is something you're working on that's kind of, we want to improve on this, or we want to get better on this, or this is something, the gap that we're trying to close?
Yeah. So
Lord knows there's a many of them for all of us, right?
Oh man, I'm like, woo, that's a big one. Yeah. Well, there's different projects I'm working on. So, I stated earlier, I'm a designer. My husband's a designer. We're artists and creatives. And so a huge part of myself that sort of got neglected through the process of having to give everything to the healthcare business was that creative outlet for me. And so we are actually having architects literally draw up designs right now for our design studio in our barn.
Oh, awesome.
So we can have a place to do that also.
Yeah.
So that for me in my personal life is huge, because I feel like it's like, we're tapestries, and it's like the thread I need this, piece it together. And my son can hang out in there while we're getting creative and witness that part of us and experience that as well, and make art alongside us and all of that. And integration is a big concept for me, applying to what you're talking about. I think in the world of healthcare, we have a very, very fractured, fragmented way of thinking about our health, our well-being, and our healthcare system. And I think it is like shattered glass of a window that doesn't even know where the pieces are to put together. Yep. How are we ever going to see through it? It's so, I just came up with that, but it's like, it's so, all over.
It's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And we would
talk about navigate around healthcare systems. It's just, you know what I'm saying? So
even the violent or the differences we have between health and sick care versus understand. Yeah, I agree with
and
you.
Treating symptoms and not root causes, and not addressing, the mind, body, spirit. And I could go on and on forever into eternity. But well, I'll be concise as I can and say that, it's about integration.
Yeah.
And that is where Americans will find health again, I think, is pulling the pieces together and not just addressing one, not having 50 places you go for all your needs. And so what I'm really trying to say is, we have a big vision for Pacific Medical Resources, and that's part of it, is healing some of the gaps that you're talking about, and making it more cohesive and addressing the whole person. So I'll kind of leave it at that, but there's technology aspects to that, and ancient technology aspects to that, and so on and so forth. So
I think it is, because with all your integrations, a beautiful word for it. Yeah. And so Emma, thank you. You are an amazing woman. You are a true mom boss. You are such a wonderful leader, and the person, the businesswoman, that I've seen you grow to the phoenix that's rose over the 5 years that I've worked with you has been amazing. And I see so many more amazing things for you. Thank you so very, very much.
Brad, thank you so much. We've become like family, and
Yeah.
I love you dearly, and I love Susie dearly, and Leah dearly.
And we love you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you on many, many levels. But whoever's watching this, if you want any of the qualities I'm talking about, he is an incredible tool. And if you know me, I don't say that lightly. So
I'm humbled. Thank you. Thank you. Have yourself an amazing rest of the day. Thank you. And everyone, you were just delivered a gem. Enjoy. Bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed the interview today and found value that you can implement in your business immediately. Remember, action is what makes this information all worth it. If you need help figuring out what that action is, go to callwithbrad.com and we'll get some clarity and help you figure out what that should be.